Hey y'all, it's Zack, the legal tech advisor here at Lawyerist, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about advanced timekeeping and billing features. Recently, I sat down with the team at TimeSolv and they showed me some of their more popular features. Have a look and see what you think.
Okay, so good afternoon, Zach. I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts of TimeSolv and all the features that we currently have. We're super feature rich. We're in the cloud, so we have easy access from regardless of what browser or what system you're in. We can accommodate Apples. We can accommodate all the various different devices. We have a mobile app and multiple ways that you can get into our system, but we are cloud enabled. So on my screen, you're going to see I've brought us to the login screen, and this is a simple login. And it's a web page. I just put my username and my password in, and then I go ahead and hit the login screen. After I hit this login screen, it's going to take me directly to my time entry screen. And this is where I enter all my time. There's a calendar over here on the left. This calendar, today is the 5th, so that day is highlighted in orange.
hmm
If I needed to track time for a day other than today, I would just click on that day and it would turn orange. The first box up here at the top says, who am I entering time for? And this is me as a timekeeper, or I can hit the drop down and enter time for anybody in the system.
hmm
And by the way, we do have permissions that can be set up. So if you want to lock that feature down so somebody isn't able to enter time for somebody else, we
Right.
have all of those permissions in the system.
Okay.
The next box down says matter, and this is where I can double click to get a matter list, or I can type in who I'm entering time for. So if I double click, you can see here's all the clients and matters in my account. And
Okay.
then if I did not want to do it that way, I could just go ahead and type in a person and client and matter, and it would pull it up. Now we have an option here for task and activity codes. I currently only have the task codes turned on,
hmm
and it is not mandatory. You have the option to make them mandatory, and you can create your own task and activity codes, and we can preload your system with all the ABA codes if you need that,
hmm
but you can also create your own. And you can determine if they're mandatory or not mandatory. The next option
Great.
is to be able to designate if it's a billable, non-billable, or no charge time. No charge time would appear on your invoice, and then next to that time entry, it would say no charge. Non-billable would never appear on the invoice. This is for time that you want to keep track of, but maybe not necessarily want your client to see it. And
hmm
then billable time is straight billable.
Okay.
The next box down is where I can put in the hours that I work. By default, our system is set up at the 0.6-minute increments, which
hmm
is tenths of an hour. That is the industry standard for law firms. However, it is customizable. You can make your billing increments whatever you choose. So if you have clients, and you can even pick and choose based off clients and matters. So if you have a client that's at quarter hours, you can designate that on the client level as well, and then have the rest of the firm be at tenths. Or if you want your whole firm at quarter hours, you can move it to that, however you want to do that. So I'm
Okay.
just going to put some hours in. And then we have the description box. And this is where we can type in exactly what we did. So like phone call with client, and then I can go ahead and save this time entry. And you can see here now it does appear down here. It shows up on my calendar as
hmm
0.6. It gives me a daily total, a weekly total, as well as a monthly total.
Okay.
Okay, some other really kind of cool features I'd like to show you here on this screen. We have some really awesome features available. And one that I really want to showcase is that we also have a plugin to where you can dictate your time. So you can see here, I've put in my name, I put in the client matter, I put in the billable type, and then the hours. And then up here, if I click on my plugins, And here is my plugin right here. And it's typing in everything I say currently, as you can see. So you can dictate your time directly in this box without having to type it. This is going to save an attorneys just so much time to not have to type that time in. It's a very popular feature and people love it. Now, this is only available in Chrome. And as you can see, look at that.
Man. Yeah. So you don't have to just put things in there that are shortened notes. You can actually say, here's what my whole time is, and here's a pretty good description of it. Instead of just phone call with client, you can say, had a phone call with the client and we discussed blah, 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 you know, fantastic.
Exactly. You're just going to talk it into the system and it's going to, you know, no longer, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything additional, you know, just a simple plugin, and we help you set that up. You don't have to pay for like Dragon Speak or some other software and then try and get the two to work together. It is wonderful and it works amazing. The other scenario is we do also have abbreviations that can be put in the system. And if you're currently using like one of the other legacy systems, especially TimeSlips, if you have your abbreviations built out in TimeSlips, you know that we do have a full historical conversion. So we're going to bring those abbreviations over for you. So they're already going to be preloaded right in your system, and you're not going to have to change any way that you do it.
If you don't mind, let me kind of pause on that full historical conversion. What that means for anybody that doesn't know is that you guys aren't just saying, okay, well, here's where that one ended and here's where TimeSolv starts. You go back in and get all the entries that were in that previous system and bring them into TimeSolv as if they were entered there in the first place, right?
That's correct. It's a full historical migration. That means every piece of data that you have in TimeSlips is going to reside in TimeSolv.
And you guys do that for TimeSlips. Do you do that for anybody else?
Oh yeah, we do it for 3 different products now. We do it for TimeSlips. We do it for tabs 3. And we do it for PC Law.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of wanted to make sure we highlighted that because I think that's a fantastic feature right there in and of itself.
Yeah, I do believe that TimeSolv is the only cloud-based software that can do what's called full historical migration. A lot of the cloud-based software offer what we call as a snapshot migration, where they take your balances and move everything and then moving forward. No, we actually do the entire database. If you entered a time entry in 1987, it is going to be in TimeSolv, and you can run reports on it. So super amazing feature. And people that, if you check our reviews, you're going to see that people that have went through the full historical migration truly love that migration. And not only that, we've done literally thousands of them at this point.
Right. Well, and I think to get back to your point here, when you do that full historical migration, it brings in any abbreviations that you have for the description, so you don't have to worry about making those again.
That's correct. Everything. The wonderful thing about abbreviations as well is that if you have them built out, you know, you can standardize the way your invoices look because you're using the same verbiage. You're less likely to have typos and that sort of thing. So super fantastic. It's wonderful for firms. A lot of firms use it. And we like putting it in and showing you how. So this is our time entry screen. We have a lot of other bells and whistles that are available in the system. The ability to submit time to, like, let's say if you had somebody that came in and was a paralegal or a summer associate, you could have them submit their time to like a partner to approve that time. We have the ability to switch to a fixed amount here and just put in a total dollar amount there. So there's a lot of functionality. I'm kind of going over like the main pieces today, but just want to to say that there is a ton of functionality. So even if there's something that you don't see, don't think that we don't do it. Always reach out to us, because 9 times out of 10 we do. It's just, it didn't get covered in this piece that we're doing today. All right, so I'm going to bounce over here to clients, and we're going to go over to clients and matters. So a couple of things that TimeSolv has the ability to do. Number one, clients and matters are, we never bill time directly to a client. We always bill time to the matter that that client owns. So you're going to put your client in, and then you're going to put the matter, so what you're working on. This makes it so much easier and cleaner when it comes to billing, because if you have a client who has multiple matters, you have the ability to separate those out, keep separate accounting on those, and keep track of your time on those. Okay, so adding a new client is so easy in TimeSolv. It is literally one click. And up here, if you can see, I have this new client button. It's a plus sign. All I need to do is add that. And I'm going to say, Zach, you are going to be my new client. So I can type your name in here. And then down here, we have client IDs. These you can customize them, so you can type in whatever you want. They can be a number, they can be a letter, they can be a combination, or the system can automatically number those for you, and you can pick where you want your numbering to start. So if you're moving from another system and you already have a client numbering system that you've been using, we can set that up in TimeSolv, so it just carries forward. So that's all I have to do to set up a new client, and then I can hit save, and then it's going to take me to my client details screen. On this screen, this is where I can add all kinds of customization. This is where we have those billing increments where I can override the firm setting. Okay, I can specify a invoice name here if that invoice name is going to be different than yours. This is also where I can update the client ID. I can determine if this client is an active, an inactive, or a prospect. We have tax, and we have tax on multiple levels. This tax section right here can also be used for various other things. Like we've had firms that don't want to keep track of their soft costs. So what they'll do is they'll put in a taxable percentage and relabel this to say overhead surcharge or something like that, client surcharge fee, and then they can make it a percentage of what their billable time is. Super fantastic, easy to do, and a great way if you're not wanting to keep track of every piece of paper you print, every fax that you send, and every envelope you drop in the mail.
Right.
Okay, so we also, you can designate the currency. So if you're not in the United States, because we are, by the way, in I believe 17 different countries now.
Okay.
So you can designate your currency here. And that gives you a way to default it not from or other than the American dollar. Okay. So up here at the top, we have a contacts tab, and this is super easy. This is where I'm going to put in who actually gets the invoice. I can add that new contact here by clicking on it, and then I could just type your name in. I could put notes in. We also have a client portal down here that can be set up.
Okay.
The client portal allows you to securely deliver your invoices to them through a portal, and then allows your customers, because we now have the TimeSolv Pay, your customers can pay directly on screen with a credit card or a ACH.
Okay.
Super fantastic.
Yeah.
So after you've set up your contact, now we do have this Invoice Settings tab, and this is really cool. You can see here we have flexible billing templates, and you can designate a template. So if you have, let's say, 10 different clients, 9 of them are using your standard billing template. The 10th one has a bunch of stuff that they want you to provide on their invoices that's not normal for you to provide. You can create a new template designated to that client, and then all invoices that go out to that client are going to get customized with that new template. and have their settings. So each month when you generate your invoice, you're not having to recreate the will every month to ensure that that client's needs are met. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another super fantastic and just amazing feature that TimeSolv has recently unrolled, I say recently in the last couple of years, is we have interest, and you can apply interest, but you can determine if you want your interest to be in compound or in simple.
Oh, man.
And I have never seen another billing system that gives you that flexibility on any of the systems. You can also put in a grace period and payment terms directly on your invoice, and then the interest doesn't start until after that grace period.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
Our invoices, you can deliver our invoices in all of these different formats. So we have Excel, HTML, Leads, Leads 2000, Leads International, PDF. Yeah. By the way, our invoices can be downloaded in either a single PDF or a multiple PDF. So, like at the end of the year, you got that client that is, let's say, a insurance company or something, and they want a copy of all invoices that you sent them over the year. You can do a search for them all. You can select them all, and you can download a single PDF with all the invoices attached. You don't have to save each one individually and email them out. Huge savings of time. Okay. Yeah. PowerPoint and Word. And as you know, and I'm just going to say this, I highly doubt you will come across the need to ever download something in Word, because TimeSolv is so powerful, and you can modify your invoices such a depth. However, if there ever was a need to put something on the invoices that you absolutely could not do in TimeSolv, you do have the ability to download that invoice in Word and modify that invoice. Okay.
Yeah.
So super handy and awesome features. And then down here, we have our invoice narratives. And this is where you can create specific verbiage or payment instructions, email verbiages that can go on those invoices. This is really, really cool. Let me explain why. So this is on this client level. So this client, I can set up specific invoice narratives, but I can also do it on a firm level. If I go to clients and settings, I could actually set that up on a firm level. And not only can I do that, I can insert various different things. I can insert a logo. I can insert a web page link, whatever I wanted to insert, I could put on those invoices. So just amazing. Yeah. So let me get you back here to our client. So that is our invoice settings screen. Now we have our payment settings tab. This is also super cool. I can enter a credit card or a bank account on file. This is part of our whole Zero AR initiative. And this allows us to, if you wanted to, by no means do you have to use it this way, but if you wanted to, everything in today's society is going to auto pay. So your engagement letter could say, we're going to retain you as a client, but you need to put a credit card or bank account on file. We'll send out our invoices. You have 30 days to make the payment. If payment isn't made, we're going to auto bill the card on file. And then you can set the system up so it's like one click and poof, you've collected all your money. And by the way, it's 24-hour funding. So you get funded within 24 hours on anything that comes in. All right. We also have custom fields that can be built out. These can be built out. There's all kinds of custom fields, and this is really detailed, and I'm really going to kind of skim over it, but we have the ability to build out custom fields. You can make them drop downs. You can make them free forms, pretty much however you need to do that.
Okay.
So under the Matters tab, this is where we would add a new matter, and over to the right, we have our plus sign that says new matter, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that plus sign. And once I do, it's going to say, what am I doing for Zach? Okay. So Zach, I'm handling your divorce. God forbid. I hope you never get one. I can designate a responsible attorney that's handling this.
Okay.
And then I can save that. You also might have saw that little consolidate button. That's because if you have a client with multiple matters, you can consolidate them all and just send out one invoice with all the matters attached. And you can break them down so that each subtotal, so your client can easily see that. So
Okay.
we have now went into the matter details screen, and this is where I can set a matter ID number. And again, that's fully customizable. It can be anything you want. We have the ability to set the responsible timekeeper here. You can designate if this matter is billable or if you want to hold the billing for this matter.
Mhm.
So if you have something that's on a contingent, you can actually select to hold that billing. Okay. Down here, we have rate by. This allows us to customize this rate. We have seven different ways that rates can be put into the system.
Mhm.
There's literally not a single way that you're doing your rates that I cannot accommodate. Okay. So
Mhm.
you can set them up by client, you can set them up by matter, you can set them up by timekeeper, you can set them up by task, you can have a default, you can have a global rate. There is literally no rate structure that we cannot accommodate.
Okay.
Okay, over here to the right, we have our task code options, and this is where you can designate if, when entering time, if that task code is required or not required, and the same with that subtask code right here, okay? And then we have this task code groups. This is a super powerful feature that allows you, and this is especially handy for people who do insurance work. So you'll like get a client that's an insurance client and they have their own special task code groups.
Yep.
You can build out those task code groups. You can put them in a grouping, and then you can assign that group here.
Okay. Yeah.
And then those are the only codes when entering time that are available.
That way you
So
don't
you're
have somebody entering something in that is something that they don't let you bill
non-approved.
for. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly,
Yep.
a non-approved time, right? So that's super fantastic. It eliminates error and helps to become more profitable because you're going to collect on what you're putting in. The next thing over, the next tab over is our originations tab. And this is where I can set up originators, and I can set them up at different percents. So I can say like, and we have the ability to calculate commissions as well. So I could say, you know, like Rahil gets 25% commission, and let's say Pat gets 25% commission. You know, so I can set up multiple originators. You can split the commission, and the commission can be done based on the originating. You can do it based on the time that they put into the system, like 25% of their time or 25% of all the time. So we have commission on multiple levels that can be calculated directly in the system. Okay.
Okay.
So we do have another contacts tab. So let me try and explain this. TimeSolv. With TimeSolv, contacts is a hierarchy. This is fantastic for many firms. So you might have a client called State Farm. State Farm has 10 different adjusters. You know, you get 30 matters from State Farm. You know, 7 of those matters go to one adjuster, 10 of those matters go to another adjuster, et cetera, et cetera. This allows me to set up a contact on the matter level. And if there's a contact on the matter level, the system will stop there. So when you generate an invoice, the invoice is going to look on the matter level and say, is there a contact? No. Then it's going to bounce up to the client level and use the client level contact. If there was a contact on the matter level, it's going to use that. So you have the ability to have a client with multiple matters and several different contacts. So we can accommodate all of that.
Right. And that keeps you from having to set up, you know, State Farm hyphen Judy, State Farm hyphen Daryl. Which
exactly.
I've had to do before. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fun. So and so now we're going to go over that invoice settings. And again, this is all the stuff we've seen previously on the client level. And this again is because if we use settings on the matter level, it's going to override the defaults that are on the client level. However, if what you set up on the client level can be like the template to each matter being opened.
Okay.
So, if I set it up on the client level, that it's got a grace period of 15 days, every matter will have that unless I go into the matter level and adjust it.
And override
Okay.
it. Okay.
And override it. Right. Same goes for this payment settings tab. And again, this is where you can enter that credit card or bank account. Super awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the ability to set up matter plans. And this is where I could basically build out like a project plan, and I can assign tasks to various timekeepers if I wanted to. I can also put budgets in the system, and that is here. And I can designate if I'm doing this budget by hour or by fee.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even do budgets by task code and by timekeeper. Okay, so I can keep track of my budgets there.
Mm-hmm.
This invoicing tab, this is where every single invoice that you have ever created and sent to your client is going to show up. You can download those invoices at any time. And you can see balances due. You can see the WIP. Pretty much all the information is going to be available there. Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar because this is a fairly new thing, but we now have a calendar and we also have a Microsoft 365 integration to our calendars. So if you have Microsoft 365, you can integrate it to your TimeSolv account and you're able to see your 365 calendar directly in Microsoft. This 365 integration also allows you to enter time directly from your Microsoft 365 calendar, and it allows you to enter time from your email.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it is crazy awesome. So
because that's where we spend a lot of time is in those emails. So yeah,
for sure. So like here's my email, and you can see up here I have a TimeSolv little add-on. And if I click that add-on, this is where I can start entering time. So I can click my clock. Or I can type my time in, and then I can select what matter I'm entering time for. I can put in notes, description, and then I can save that time entry, and you can see it's saved. And the same goes for like my calendar over here. So if I open up my calendar here, here's my Microsoft 365 calendar. And, if I wanted to click on like this lunch, I can open that up and I can enter time directly from that calendar. There we go. It's been a while since I've done this, and I don't think I have this hooked up to my calendar. That's why you're not seeing my calendar in TimeSolv.
Gotcha.
So I recently had to unhook it to show somebody something else. So yeah, but it does allow you to enter time directly from your calendar right into the system. So it's super, super convenient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have our documents tab. And so let me go over that with you. Our documents, we have internal storage. So you can store everything directly inside TimeSolv if you needed to or wanted to. You can create new folders and you can upload those there. Okay. Not only do we also have that, we connect to Dropbox and we connect to NetDocs as well.
Okay.
So not only do we have that, but we also now have a Docs Premium. Okay. And Docs Premium allows for file sharing and e-signature.
Okay.
So that's huge. And that is new. Now that is an add-on feature, but it is available, and we can build that out for you if you need it. Okay. So we have trust accounting directly in our system. You can have multiple trust accounts. You can have more than one. You can make deposits and disbursements from trust. TimeSolv doesn't actually write the check, but you can reconcile your trust accounts directly in TimeSolv. You can see all the ins and outs. Okay. We also have the ability here, like if I was to add a new trust account, to put a replenisher in. So if the invoice is going to auto pull, because see here we have the ability to auto pay our invoices from trust. If you fall below that replenisher, the invoice is automatically going to add the amount that's needed to replenish that trust account back up to your minimum trust amount.
Okay.
So super nice. So TimeSolv also has split billing function available. Split billing allows you to bill all of your time and then split that time at the time of billing. You can set this up with as many splits. So if you had a client that had to have their bill split to 20 different people, you can set that up. One of the unique things about our split billing is not only do we have split billing, but we have the ability to split the hours and the amount, or split the hours and calculate amount. So what that means is, let's say State Farm is your client. They actually are going to have something that's split bill between a lot of other places. And State Farm, you have a negotiated rate with. Their portion is going to their negotiated rate would be applied to their bill, but not to the others. So that's a very powerful feature, and it allows you to split this and determine how much people are going to pay based on the rates that you have negotiated with them. So that's just another amazing thing that TimeSolv does.
That's not something you see often. I mean, like the split billing in and of itself is not something you see often, but the intelligent way of going about and determining the ultimate amounts that are owed, you certainly don't see that very many places.
Not only that, but our split billing function is super powerful in the terms that I can run a split bill and I can run it whole. That means unsplit. I can make all my edits on that draft. I then throw it back. I void it out, and then I split it. In this way, if you have, and I know because I did this, I worked at a law firm of 300 attorneys. If you have an invoice that's split 20 different ways, and you have 20 different pre-bills, right? Because it goes to 20 ways, and one edit needs made, you have to make it on 20 places. Right? Our system prevents that because it's going to allow you to do those edits in whole and then split it, which is just fantastic. It's a huge time saver. I worked in Elite and Adirant, which are enterprise level systems, and did not have that functionality. And that's why when we built this out, I was like, we need this because I have done this and it is awful. Okay, so
that's why you have to have user feedback,
That's it. That's exactly it. Developers are wonderful and great, but they don't use the system, so they don't, and that's one of the things I love about TimeSolv is our developers don't just develop the product without coming to the end users and say, you help us, you show us what you need, because ultimately they don't understand how one small thing can just make a huge difference, right?
Yep.
So that is the Matters tab. So we know how to enter clients and matters in the system, and we can set them up, and we can set up our settings on a global setting level for the entire firm, or a matter setting or a client level. So we have all of that functionality built in. We have the add-on for the calendaring and the emails. We have the add-ons for the document storage. And I didn't go in with you that we also, not only do we have add-ons for document storage, but we also have the ability to create document automation. So if you have a form letter, an engagement letter, or something like that, that you fill out routinely over and over and over again, we can set it up so it's automated. And you click a button and it's going to pull the information from the client, from the matter, from the trust account, the dates, everything. It's going to pre-populate everything, and you're not going to have to do it anymore.
Right. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really great. It truly is. So Some of the other functions that we have available, we have the ability to set up recurring expenses. So let's say there's something that gets billed every single month and you just don't want to have to go in and do an expense entry every month for the exact same thing. You can set it up as a recurring expense and it's automatically going to apply and be a billable expense that shows up on that invoice. So super fantastic feature.
Yeah.
So our expense entry screen, this is where you can enter expenses and you can see up here, I have this $2.50 entry. That is a automated expense entry that comes in every day. Okay. But this screen is almost identical to your time entry screen. Okay. So you can set up expense codes, and these expense codes you can put in default prices for various different things, like a default for mileage. So if I put in like 100 miles, the system's going to do the calculation for me. We can also put in markups, and you can switch to a fixed amount.
Okay.
But the stronger feature, one of the features that I like the most about the expense entry screen is the ability to upload a receipt. So I can upload my receipt. It's going, and then I can choose to attach that receipt to the invoice. So if your client wants like a hard copy, a backup of what it is that you did or of that receipt, you have it right then and there. Also, if you're doing leads billing, you know, those lovely leads bills, when you draw that invoice, you've got all your expenses there. Easy to attach directly into that third-party billing system because you already have them in one format. You ain't got to go looking around everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So awesome. So our invoices here, when I go to invoices and drafts, this is where you can create your draft invoices. It's very, very easy to do. And just, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these and show you a couple of stronger features with our draft invoice creation. And something else that I didn't go over with you, we also now have, which I am a super big fan of, is we have the ability to build out I call them billing queues. I don't know what everybody else might call them, but billing categories. So if you are a larger firm and you're pulling invoices, and especially if you're doing leads invoices, you have like this company wants their bills quarterly, this company wants them bi-monthly, this company wants them monthly. I can set those all up. See,
that's fantastic.
And then I know it is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. So I can sell up the billing categories and then I can put them on the clients or the matters. Okay. So when I run my draft invoice, a couple of things. Number one, when I want to create drafts, I can either create drafts for all of the clients. I can create drafts for individual matters. So, you know, those on-demand invoices. I can run them by only my matters, stuff that's assigned to me, or I can run these by Responsible Timekeeper down here. Okay. Now, when I select to run them, let's say on all my clients, then the next box down here is billing category. So I can select what billing category. So I can say, oh, you know what? It is April. I want to run everything that's in Q2 as well as everything that's monthly. And then I just want to run some on where nothing is designated to ensure I pick up, you know, anything that maybe somebody forgot to put a billing category on. Okay, so I can pull those. I can put my date range in. I can put my invoice date in. And then I also have the ability to run invoices on time only or expense only, which is super. Like these billing categories, this is where this comes into play. Let's say you have contingent matters. You can all set them up on a contingent bill category. Select contingent under your category and run for expenses only, and bam, you have all of your contingent matters, billable expenses that can be sent out all in one fell sweep. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to go back and look for it. There's no hunting and pecking. It's all automated. So, you know, it's very powerful.
Yeah, that is.
So then I right here is that split button, and I wouldn't click that now because I like to run those split invoices in a whole fashion, make my edits, and then split them. That's how I like to do it. You
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to split them up front if you want, but it is either or. And then when I hit create, this allows me to draft all of those invoices in one big fail swoop. So with our system, you have the ability to draft in bulk. You can
Mm-hmm.
do all of
Mm-hmm.
them. You don't have to do them one at a time. However, we have the flexibility that if you have a one-off invoice, you can go to just that matter and pull an on-demand invoice for
Mm-hmm.
that particular matter. So all the draft invoices were created, and you can see them on my screen now. Looks like it created 111 draft invoices.
Okay.
I can preview any one of these drafts by clicking on this magnifying glass. It's going to open up a previewer where I can actually look at the draft invoice. This one is kind of blank. I don't have my logo in, which I should. So this is like the law firm name, the
Mm-hmm.
client's information would go here, your date. Now this one is a fixed fee, so I do not have it set up to show the time. However, you could do that. And then you have your totals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So the invoice templates are totally customizable. You can add, your rate, you can add your hours, you can add your descriptions, you can add task codes, you can group by task codes or group by timekeeper,
Okay.
Pretty much anything you want. You just let me know, we build it out. Usually I'll say, send me a copy of your current invoice. Do we want to build it the same or do we want to make it better? You tell me. Either way, I'm good.
Gotcha.
So we can download these invoices right here, either one at a time, and we can download them into all of these different formats, okay? Or I can select all of them and do a big download,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do it in single file or multiple files.
Okay.
The other super cool thing up here, I can sort these draft invoices by the responsible timekeeper. So let's say I wanted to send you, Zack, your invoices. I would
Mm-hmm.
select your name, hit search, download those, and that's your pre-bills
And
for
I could
you to
put those
review.
into a single PDF, send that off
Yep.
to yeah, okay.
This is super great for firms that are looking to go to paperless billing.
Right.
And if you're big on the paperless, more firms waste so much money on, listen, I'm old school. I've been doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago, I would go into the office on the first day of the month. We would start running pre-bills, and I'd walk out at 11 o'clock at night after we had went through, 20 boxes of paper and
Right.
are shipping these boxes off to people in the other offices that are in the other states because we were the main office.
Uh-huh.
We switched to paperless. Literally, it would take us minutes. I would be done with
Right.
our pre-bills before noon.
Right.
And it cost us nothing. We didn't have to pay for paper. We didn't have to pay for ink. We didn't have to pay for mailing, postage, all of that. And they got it faster. They got it marked up faster, returned faster. It's just a better process overall.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So not only that, after I have my invoices here, I can drill into the actual invoice by clicking on the dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I can see all of my information. This is actually a split invoice. So let me take you back into a different one here. So I can see the invoice date, the invoice period. I can modify these on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what template this invoice is using, the grace period, the interest rate, if it's consolidated. And then we have this review complete. So you could send your invoice, or you could draft your invoices. You could send an email to your attorneys that say invoices are out there ready for you to review. Your attorney can come in under this draft screen. They can sort by their name right here. They can go to their particular invoice list, and now they can make their edits, because if you click on the time tab, they can come in here and you can edit anything on this invoice.
Right.
And by the way, we do have the ability to update the original entry or keep it the same. So you can run comparisons, see how much time was wasted or whatever. And then once they're done reviewing, they can come back here and they will click on this review complete button and save it. And now on the main screen here, we're going to get that little check mark. Now
Okay.
your billing clerk knows that invoice is ready to be sent out, and they can determine if it needs to be printed or mailed or sent via email.
Okay.
Other powerful features in here is the fact that we have like the interest. You can see the interest. You can see how much interest is charged. You can override that calculated interest. And then we do have a totals tab, and this totals tab allows you to put adjustments on your invoices in whole dollar amount here. And that can be an up or down adjustment. And then you can type in your label of what you want that adjustment to read. You can also figure out percent discount, and you can have that discount only apply to fees. So if you have costs on that invoice, obviously you probably don't want to discount those.
Right. Right.
Any questions regarding the invoice creation?
No. This is fantastic. I appreciate that you went into the fact that you can go fully paperless, not even have to send a PDF to the attorney. You just say, hey, go in and check these things out, or whoever is responsible for the billing, go in and check this out and let us know that it's good, and we'll get it out today.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it so much easier for everybody involved. If you've ever been that billing clerk and had to decipher your attorney's notes that should have possibly been a doctor, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, this avoids all of that because they know what they're going to say, right? However, we're not trying to change what you're doing. We're just offering ways to make it better if you want. But if you still like that old paper, well, heck, we can do that too. We can print it. You can email it. You can, whatever works for you. And by the way, with the new iPads, they have PDF editors. So the attorney gets that on their iPad, they open it up and they use the editor and they just write directly on it like they did a paper one.
Right.
So, I mean, it is truly a very strong and very powerful feature. Some of the other highlights regarding our invoicing is even after you finalize an invoice, you can take it out of the final state and make edits to it. And it doesn't matter how old it is. If it's 5 years ago, I can pull it back out of the final state. I can make edits to it and refinalize it. The only time that we'll run into any issues is if you have interest calculations, then we have to do a little more things, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I go to my invoices and my sent screen, this is where those sent invoices sit, and you can see them right here. And then there's that really cool little button up here that says charge. You might not be able to see it right here. Okay, so this is where if you had the engagement letter that said put a credit card or bank account on file, the 30 days has passed. You can sort by that date range, find all those invoices, select them, and hit charge account. Poof, you just got paid for everything that was not paid for.
Right.
Okay, so that's what we call our zero AR. I mean, who doesn't want to get their money on time?
Right. Well, and it was easier for your client to pay as well. They didn't have to worry about going in. They were going to pay. They didn't have to worry about going in and wasting their own time that day.
And then the next thing I really want to show you is our payments and payments, as well as our payments and trust. So right here, you have your payments and payments and payments and trust. And both of these pretty much work the same. This is how you're going to make deposits into your account. You have the ability to do refunds up here as well. But this is what I really want to show you. When you select a client, let's say your client has called in and said, hey, I want to pay this invoice. Can I make a payment by credit card? Check this out. I can select credit card manual entry. I can put my payment in, and then I can hit save, and a box pops open. I enter the credit card information and hit submit, and that money is in your bank account the next morning.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Just that fast. And that works not just for the credit card, but it also works for ACH. And something that nobody else has, I have not seen anywhere else. So everybody knows if you do credit card billing, guess what? You get charged 3%, right? ACH is 1%. It's a whole lot cheaper, right? So look at this. When you come into my system here, you have the ability on our, I believe it's, give me 1 second. right here. Allow payment method.
Mm-hmm.
You can restrict it and say, I only want to accept ACH.
Nice.
Nobody else has that. Nobody else. This is like literally groundbreaking. So you can specifically say, I want to get my money and I want to get it faster, but I want to pay the lowest fee that's available.
Right.
Right. So that is huge. So you can send that out and you're collecting your money. Okay. So the other thing that there's two more things I want to go over real quick, and I know we're running out of time, is on our time entries screen, we also have this analytics tab. This is a tab that can give you quick information at a glance. It's all your target billable hours, an overview, your top clients. You can do this by date range here, and you can do it by staff member or multiple staff members. You would just check them. You can customize this dashboard as to what you want to see, but it's a brief overview of what's going on in the firm, and it gives you a lot of detailed information if you didn't want to go in and run reports. And then of course we have our reports tab, and this is where we have every report that any law firm would ever need. And not just that, all of our reports can be ran into multiple different output formats. So even if there was a report you couldn't exactly get, well, we have an answer for that as well. You can download it into Excel or CSV, and then we can write a macro for you, or we can help you build out the formula to get the exact information that you need. So that's the brief overview of TimeSolv, Zach. Are you impressed or what?
Fantastic. Yeah, TimeSolv is it's extremely deep. You know, you guys have a lot of information here, a lot of hard to find features as well. So yeah, I really appreciate you showing me around here. And I think people will get a lot of information from this. But as you said earlier, this is not everything that TimeSolv can do. And so if there is something that people are curious as to whether TimeSolv can do it, then they just need to contact you guys and ask.
Book a demo with me.
Right. Book a demo. And so where can they book a demo? At TimeSolv.com?
And that's TimeSolv.com. When you come to our main webpage, there it says book a demo now, I believe. Up in the top right hand, actually it says free trial here. You could also email us and we will go ahead and get that scheduled. You don't have to put a credit card in to start the free trial. You can play around in the system and take a look at how it works. But you know, out of all this wonderful stuff I showed you, I didn't tell you the most important thing that TimeSolv has, and that is you get a dedicated account manager. You get another person on my staff that is dedicated to you. They're going to learn your firm. They're going to know your billing. They're going to know how you do stuff, and you're going to have access to them. You get access to their calendar, so you get undivided attention. You don't have to deal with somebody new every time you call in. They know you. They will get to know you very, very well. They're going to walk you through everything.
That's fantastic. So yeah, there's a lot of things that TimeSolv can do, and you certainly have somebody that can help you figure out all those things. And I honestly, I would suggest, instead of doing the free trial, now if you want to do the free trial, do it, but I would suggest to book a demo, to ask specific questions to see if to see what they've got, because you can poke around all you want, but it's easier to ask somebody.
Yeah, and we're always here. We're available. If you need a demo after hours, just shoot me an email. We do them all the time. Like I said, we're in 15 different countries. So if you need a demo at 9:00 at night, I'm your girl.
You got somebody to do it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate your time, and I appreciate you showing me around here. And I know people are going to get a lot out of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.